can't I see you guys anymore? I lost you. Okay. I still want to see there. Okay, now we're ready. All right. Own your magic. So, like I said, this is just an acronym that I use to help my clients gain clarity on their superpowers so that they can connect with the people who need them. So, I just wanted to share this photo from a session that I had with Allie and a couple of her good friends. And she hosted just a uh, autumn equinox retreat in her backyard in Lawrenceville. And we'd met just a couple of months before that. And I feel like the reason that I met Allie and the reason that I met a lot of you and attracted you in this group was because I really started to own my own magic. And I started leaning into like my witchy nature. And I started to find other people who were just very spiritual and creative. And so I thought it was really powerful to just share this image of Allie putting together a fun event with her friends, and it all just worked out so well that I could capture it and take some photos, and very grateful for her, for all of you. But I want to just talk a little bit about like how we can start to show up in our communities, and really expressing ourselves fully and being 100% ourselves and being authentic, because I feel like that is how we really live our purpose, and we really start to attract the people that we can help, people that can help us, people that we can collaborate with and work together, and just start to make those really deep and meaningful connections, which I know as we kind of get older, it can be a little bit harder to do that and to like find ways to meet people. And so this specifically, was designed to help my branding clients to think about like how they want to show up in their images. But I feel like it also just resonates so much with life in general. And so, yeah, just kind of keep that in mind that you don't have to be someone that has a business or like a website or, is even very active on social media. Although this is something that could really apply for if you're thinking about like creating a personal brand. So, we're going to start just by walking through the letters of the word magic. So M stands for mission and message. A for adversity and aesthetic. G for gifts and guilty pleasures. I, influence and inspiration. And C, connection and credibility. So we're just going to start with M. So if you guys want to just open up your journals, I'm going to read through these and just feel free to take some notes, make a list of like anything that comes through intuitively right away. And then you can always go back and just spend a little bit more time journaling and reflecting. Since we're going to have kind of like 10 prompts, we won't be able to spend a ton of time on each one of them. So just go ahead and write down whatever kind of comes through first. But so M stands for mission and message. Mission. What is the purpose behind everything you do? What's your why? Having a clear mission statement will help you attract people who believe in you and desire to help you fulfill that mission. So go ahead and just take a little bit of time before I even read the next part and write down anything that comes through right away. And since this really kind of aligns and just builds on the first question, I'll read the second kind of word for M, message. What message do you want to get across? What do you hope to express through your content? Just, anytime that you meet somebody, how can you spread that message like wildfire across your platforms and everything you do? Back.
What happened?
No, we disappeared for a minute there, but let me share again. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think we're still recording too. We must have just kind of lost Wi-Fi for a second.
Yeah, it said it's recording again.
Cool. Okay. We will go ahead and move on to the next letter. I know this is going to be kind of quick, but I want to make sure we have some time to share too. So A stands for adversity and aesthetic. So adversity, what obstacles have you overcome to get to where you are now? What challenges are you still facing or helping others to move through? We can turn your pain into purpose and use it to fuel you forward in your life's work. I feel like thinking about the things that we've overcome often help us to, really get clear on how we're meant to help other people. So this is a nice one to explore, I think. And then next is aesthetic. And so this one can be fun to think about for branding specifically, but also just maybe in like your fashion style, or anything really, or like how you love to decorate your home. So think about your visual aesthetic. What's your brand style? Maybe you like more like neutrals, maybe you're really colorful, maybe you're minimal or eclectic. And I feel like it's just kind of fun to think about this generally ahead of a photo shoot. Like I mentioned, this is usually something I use for like branding clients so that we can really capture that in a photo. But I feel like all of you use, social media. And so maybe think about it that way. Otherwise, however it resonates with you. Hop on to the next slide here. Gifts and guilty pleasures. So, what are you naturally good at without explanation? How do you help people without even trying? When people compliment you, what do they say? And what mediums flow through you? So maybe you're someone who like loves art and painting. Maybe you're someone who loves to write and that just kind of comes through you really naturally. Maybe you take photos or you sing or you dance. There's all kinds of different things you can think about there. But yeah, I just really like thinking about how those kind of natural gifts really align with our purpose and how we're meant to help people. And when we start to lean into that, I've found at least that it helps me not to feel so burned out when I'm like serving others if I'm really like using my natural gifts. And then guilty pleasures is a really fun one. So what do you love that maybe you're a little bit embarrassed about? What do you secretly desire more than anything? Sometimes it's those vulnerable truths that make us relatable, and you'll attract the people who love you for you when you get comfortable sharing your guilty pleasures and even some taboo topics. Let your free flag fly. 2 more slides to go through. So I stands for influence and inspiration. And I'm just going to read these ones both together. So whether you realize it or not, you're influencing the people around you. It says my
Wait, Stan, you're cutting out. I don't know if this is happening for other people.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can.
It did pop up that it was unstable, but now it looks good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
I'll see if it
Yeah,
gives
I wasn't sure
better
if this is
signal.
happening
Feel
for other
free to
people.
just, do that again if you start to lose me. So
Okay.
whether you realize it or not, you're influencing the people around you. You're making an impact with every action that you take. So let's get really clear on who you're influencing already and the kind of people that you'd love to call in and help. And so you can spend a little time thinking about that. And then simultaneously, feel free to think about who inspires you or what inspires you. Where do you get your inspiration? And how can you use that inspiration when planning content or building your brand? You can look to your teachers, role models, Pinterest boards, even your favorite places, and then just think a little bit about what it is about that inspires you. I'll move on to our last slide. I hope I'm not going too fast, but I'll send these all out afterwards too. C is for connection and credibility. So connection, you have an opportunity to build a connection with your audience through your personal branding. What is it that makes you relatable? And, even if this is just like in an everyday situation where you're meeting people, like you're out and you're at an event and you see a lot of new faces. So, like, what would be maybe something that you would talk about that would be your connection piece? What key components of your life experiences or personality usually strike a chord with other people? This is something that you want to pinpoint so that you can really be intentional when you're sharing content or you're introducing yourself. And last but not least, credibility. So we'll kind of wrap up by just celebrating you and all of your accomplishments. And just kind of thinking about like what makes you an expert in your field. And just to clarify, like to be an expert, all you really need to be is like one step ahead of somebody else to know like maybe a little bit more about something so that then you can, maybe help them with whatever it is that you have learned. And don't be afraid to toot your own horn. I feel like it just is really great to share what we know, what we feel really good about, or what we're really proud of. And then we can really build our know, like, and trust factor with potential clients, with collaborators, new friends, really anybody that you meet or interact with. Oh, you are so needed and your voice is meant to be heard. So I just made a little note here. If you guys wanted to like go a little deeper and explore any of this and you want a branding session or anything else, we can totally explore that and feel free to book a discovery call with me at any time. But this is just something fun I really wanted to share with you guys. And I'm glad that I got to work through it too. Because I don't think I've really ever done the exercise for myself. And so I hope that you all enjoyed that and I didn't go too fast, but either way, just spend a little bit more time thinking about it, or maybe there was something specific that resonated with you. But I just love you all so much. And I feel like you all inspire me and you're the people that I like look to, whenever I was thinking about like my inspiration. I'm just really grateful for all of you. And I really just want you to all see how powerful and magical you are. And so if anyone wants to like share anything that came up for them, I would love to hear that now. And I what do you think about leaving the recording going? Do you guys want to continue to record and share? Because this is just going to go out to the coven. Or we can pause and we can just like have a casual conversation. Anyone opposed to keeping the recording going? Okay, I'll leave it on so then that way the rest of our sisters can hear what we all took away.
Shannon, I was gonna say the same thing, that I'm inspired by you guys, and that you're who I look up to for, yeah. And it's nice to be around other women who are all like very like-minded and want to work on the same things and are out here doing it and being successful. So yeah.
Thank you. Oh, this is such a good group.
I was thinking during which section was it? Mission, the very first one. That I think in my head I have the mission statement for my website and for my business, but it's like I definitely haven't put that out there enough, right? And it's definitely, this was great to go through because it definitely made me rethink like, okay, we worked really hard on the website when I first put it together. And so I kind of like left it. So I was like, I don't want to touch this again. But there's definitely things I need to do to like tune it up, because what sets me apart from every other person, right? It's like these are my values, and that's what I need to really what's the word? Like exemplify, right?
Well, your website is beautiful, so you definitely done a really good job
Worked
already.
really hard on that. Appreciate it.
Yes. Do you want to share like what your mission is? You like we could help you kind of like maybe clarify it a little more if it's something you want to do. No pressure.
So what do I have now? I have it now, like sort of at the beginning. And then I have like a page under my like about section that just says like, we support everybody, like LGBTQ plus, like, and then I have like a Black Lives Matter image and other stuff. But I mean, I think that's fine. But like the mission overall, I think I just need to like tune it up. And I don't know if I need to have it more like a bullet point type of situation. But like when you first click on my page, it says, welcome. The goal of our spiritual practice is to assist clients in overcoming life's challenges. We strive to create a safe space where individuals can transform their lives, find healing, and create meaningful connections. And I think that's good, but I think that there needs to be a part, like a point where I'm literally like, this is my mission statement. Like, I want to like do these certain things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that was beautiful. And I've noticed that my mission is like always evolving. And so you probably feel the same way. Like one day that can feel really good. And then maybe the next it feels like, oh, there's something that I kind of want to add to that. So yeah, just feel free to like keep changing it too.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely want to, because I think one of the other things too is like I want to be understood as someone that's affordable for others, like when it comes to readings and healing. And I think sometimes the issue with like our society is if you see someone that's like cheap, you're like, oh, well, they're just inexperienced. It's like, well, no, that doesn't make you an experience. It just means like I'm not trying to be like a really high price because I want to still be able to like help people even like of a lower income, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like your prices are very accessible. But I mean, I would not like think like at least from my perspective that like you're not experienced, because I feel like you really do a good job of like sharing about yourself and your background and everything too. And so yeah.
Because to be fair, I don't really get other people's perspective from my website, right? Because it's like I like work with someone, but they don't necessarily say like, "Oh yeah, like I know all this." Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of that with us. Yeah, I'm glad that you felt like this kind of helped you to think of something like kind of specific and practical that you could kind of work on with your website and everything. Anybody else want to share?
I can share a little bit. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little out of it today. I know my period's coming and I feel it's those days where I'm like everything is pissing me off and I'm tired. So
Me too. Mine is
Ugh.
also like we're syncing up. The coven's
Yes,
syncing.
more power.
Yes,
We all get it. We go through that roller coaster every month, every 28 days or so.
Yep. But while I was doing this and um to just thinking about it, like in my future work, I graduated like this past weekend, and I have a job that is gonna be starting in the summertime, like in July, I think. So like thinking about it kind of from that perspective as well. And at first when I was like writing my mission and like talking about like wanting to help others heal and stuff, and I'm like, wow, I don't even feel like I'm healed or like that I have peace completely, and just kind of thinking, I don't know, kind of like badly about myself in that way, like, oh, I'm not qualified because I'm not like at this perfect position. And then when it got to like our gifts and also like connecting with others, or like the connection, I kind of realized that my imperfection is like how I connect with others, and like that's powerful because we're all imperfect, and I can't like hold myself to these crazy standards. I want to get better, but like um it kind of came a little full circle for me in that way, so I felt better at the end.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like, yeah, I resonate with that so much. Like, feeling like, can I actually help people with this? But we always have more healing to do. And like, that was something that I was actually working on with my hypnotherapist just yesterday. And we talked about how actually like being vulnerable and like, speaking about how we're still working on ourselves and like, we're not perfect, and what does it even look like to be fully healed? Like that would
Yeah.
be wild. So I feel like I'm just so glad that you shared that, because now I feel like I can approach you and really ask you for like help with what you're specifically going through at the moment, and like what you're working on in your own life and how you're healing rather than like being healed. And yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sarah, I also want to say how much I resonated with that. And yeah, it's really nice to also just exactly what Shannon was saying. Like so thank you for sharing. And I also wrote down something similar as well about like how like my mission isn't to be like perfect. It's to be to like loving myself and finding myself, and then the more that I love and find myself, the more I can help other people love and find themselves. So same thing, but
I
yeah.
love that. So
Yeah.
pretty. There's this quote by one of my favorite people, Ram Dass, and it's just, we're all just walking each other home. And I like that, because it's like you don't have to be at this like certain idealized level to like be with another person and connect and help in your own way.
Yeah, I think also people feel like you're unapproachable too if you don't, like Shannon said as well, like if especially spiritual people that come off like really bright and happy and perfect and everything's amazing. Like it's not like, so it's easier for people to talk and understand when they know they have something in common. So yeah, exactly.
Thank you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Sabrina, was there anything else that came up for you, or was that just like a perfect lead in to what you wanted to share?
That was kind of a perfect lead in for what I want to share. Yeah, the other thing that I've just been really kind of working on right now is just that um like not finding happiness and fulfillment in other people, and like continuing to work on finding that within myself, and like no one's gonna come save me or anything like that, like I have to be the one to save myself, and keep working on me. And like I feel like anytime I feel like, oh, there's some part of me like missing, or like I need, and I get like an urge to have someone else fill that up for me. It's like no one can really do that. Like only I can do that for myself. So yeah, I've just been like thinking about that a lot recently, and a lot of things been happening in my life that have just been making me think about that more as well too.
Thank you. I know, I feel like relationships are just something like we put so much energy into, and it's hard as like social beings not to kind of, for me at least, to always kind of seek fulfillment from other people. And so yeah, I just resonate with that a lot, and finding more comfortability and more fulfillment and just spending time with myself is a constant practice.
Yeah.
Allie, I know you have your camera off, but if you want to share, feel free. Even if you just want to turn off your mic,
Oh, yeah,
or I mean, turn
absolutely.
it on.
Okay. Yeah, it's so good to see all of you guys, and thank you so much for sharing. I resonated with all of that. So, and I think each one of you guys has just really beautiful auras and brands like simultaneously. And yeah, so I just wanted to honor that. Um, hmm. I think what's standing out as a takeaway for me, it actually came in the like relatable, or I guess the connection section. Um, where similarly to what you guys were saying, like vulnerability was coming up for me. So like kind of in the same vein as imperfection, as well as like enthusiasm. I think like people just always resonate with people who are passionate about what they're doing genuinely. And then like storytelling, I have found is such a powerful tool in just like interpersonal relationships, and yeah, in a, like a career branding sense too, that sometimes I like to have these big profound statements, but I really just need to tell stories. Yeah, and that's what resonates.
Oh my gosh, Allie, yeah, that really hit home. Like just sharing our stories, and I feel like that is kind of the biggest thing that makes us unique, like our experiences. Nobody else has our experience or our perspective. And also so many things that you all said, like you each said something that was kind of touched on in a podcast that I listened today. So I'll have to send that over and share it. But yeah, it was just like a lot about storytelling, and also something Mackenzie said earlier, just like knowing our values and sharing our values then really like attracts people that have similar values. And yeah, that's what I want more of in my life, is just like more time with people who value the same things. And I think sometimes it actually takes a lot of like pressure and expectation off of relationships in a lot of ways too. Like realizing that we can like have different priorities and things that are important to us, but like really as long as at the end of the day we kind of can come together and like respect each other's values, that is for me something that I've been trying to like look at the bigger picture. Like even if we have like totally different personalities, we have different interests, like what are our core values? And it usually helps me to find like connections with people. So this
I
was
agree.
nice. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I feel like we don't get together enough. Like it feels like it was like so spread out, but it's also like so tough to find days that work for everybody. And so like I'm just curious, how do you all feel about like the timing? Because I was considering like keeping this just like a sharing circle and then scheduling in a separate day for this workshop. But I know last time we agreed to do this, and I feel like it gave us something specific to share about. But do you feel like we need like extra calls? Like, do you want more time specifically just for like masterminding or kind of working through anything specific? How are you feeling? I would just love to do like a check-in with the overall kind of like calendar format of these new moon calls and other workshops and the retreat coming up.
Are you doing something for the full moon, or did I read it incorrectly?
So last year I hosted like a virtual call every full moon, and I needed to take like a little bit of a break from that, and I wanted to really start focusing on the coven. But I do have a full moon call coming up that's like open to everybody with the May full moon on the 23rd. So I will make sure I send a link to that. But I also feel like it just feels so good to get together in person. And the reason a lot of the time I schedule these online is because we have Maeve, who is not in Pittsburgh, but she can't make it a lot of the time anyway. She's like different time zone and just some other conflicts. And so like we can always just like maybe schedule in like a fun coffee kind of get together, even if it's kind of last minute. If you guys just want to ever like share that you're going somewhere, you're doing something, maybe we can just get a little bit more interactive with those kinds of things too.
Yeah, I'd love to spend more time with everyone. I feel like I have a lot of more free time on my hands this summer. And I want to be mindful about how I'm spending it, but also at the same time, I want to make more time for friendships and people that I care about. So I definitely want to do like more in-person things as well. So yeah.
And next week is our first golden hour get together at Grandview Park in Mount Washington for sunset. And that is something like all are welcome to. So if you have any other friends that want to come, those are going to be the third Thursday of every month through the summer. So May, June, July, and August. And I'll make sure I add the date at least for next week in my follow-up email too. I'm gonna stop our recording, but I'm gonna stick around here in case anybody wants to share anything